I was one of those people who shut everybody and their mother out of my life. I created my own little bubble in which I lived in and my children, and that was it. I didn't want anybody around me. I didn't trust anybody. I thought most people were narcs. I was very much afraid of letting people in. So I get it. I understand it. I think it's normal to want to isolate and protect yourself and your circle and your life, physically, emotionally. You want to protect yourself. It's normal. I'm not judging, okay? That's the number one thing I wanted to say. It's a normal response to want to protect yourself from strangers or people that you think could be narcissists. I'm not judging you. Please understand that. But I do know that when you build these walls to keep everybody out, when you're hurting, when you're in need of comfort, when you're in need of support, those walls that you have built don't allow anyone to come in. And it's important to have people. People need people. Another trauma response that I had for many years, okay, even without even realizing, was hyperindependence. I can do this alone. I can face life alone. I can face my fears alone. I can face anything that comes my way. All I need is God. I can do it. We become so independent, so hyper independent that we don't see how we're hurting ourselves, because when we don't allow people in, family members, friends, or good people that you are not even willing to get to know because you feel like you got this by yourself, life will eventually show you. And I'm not judging, I'm not being judgmental. I'm just sharing what I've been through, okay? Life eventually showed me just how much I need a support system. So this video really is just an invitation for those of you who have shut everybody out to rethink that, to look at things differently, because I don't want anybody to go through what I've had to experience, because God made me sit alone for a while, and then God made me see how difficult life is when you shut everybody out. Again, I'm not judging. I understand. I did it for many years, but we need to slowly change that, because healing alone is hard. Going through difficult things alone is very hard. Not having another soul to rely on and, be your support. Not having anyone to rely on emotionally or any other way is very hard. So this video is an invitation to you to revisit at least one relationship that you may have, shut the door on, closed the door on, that can be saved. At least one. Revisit at least one. Who were the people, or that one person that at one point showed you genuine love? Revisit that relationship. Open the doors to people that showed you that they could be trusted, that they loved you. Because again, not having a circle, not having anyone will eventually hurt you more than it will help you. It is not healthy. Sometimes we have to admit to ourselves that we reacted out of trauma. It was a trauma response. And as we heal, we'll see that. We'll eventually see, God will make us see that, hey, you don't have anyone. You have closed the door on everybody. People that also may need you. Not to abuse you. They may need you because they love you, and it's been hurting them that you have closed that door, that you have ended that relationship abruptly after your situationship with the narcissist, or your marriage, or your divorce, whatever may have happened, whatever traumatic event happened that just shattered the way that you looked at other relationships. It's okay. It's okay to realize that you did that to yourself and them, and it's not your fault. Things like this happen, okay? Again, I'm not judging here. I understand you. I've done it. I'm just saying the worst thing that can happen to you after doing this to yourself, which again, I understand why we do this, is to need people and not have anyone. That is the worst thing that can happen. Whether it be because of an illness, an emergency with your children, things happen. Things happen in life which require you to run to somebody else. One person. Do you have that? Do you have that? And if you don't, I suggest that we start working on that. On building a support system around you. I'm not saying go back to narcs. That's not what I'm saying at all. But we should have a support system, even if it's one other person, two other people, three other people. And if we don't have that, we need to create that, because people need people. We need each other. That thinking in which I had a video in which I was saying, you only need God, you only need God. And I now understand that it came from my trauma. It came from my hyper independence. That's why I took that video down, because that's not the message that I now want to send as I'm healing. We need to let people in. Whether it be past people that we know loved us, relationships that we know we can save because there is love there, because the other person is mature enough to accept fault, because now you have healed enough to understand that you can come together and build a healthy relationship. These things happen, okay? You need to build a village. You need to build a support system. If you don't have one, it is critical for you to have a person, a few people that you can trust and go to, okay? It is necessary for your mental health. Start with a therapist. That's how I did it. Slowly. It doesn't have to happen this quick. I know that. I understand the fear because I lived it, okay? But I also understand the ugly predicament that you can put yourself in when you shut every single person out. It is not healthy. In addition to that, your ex-narc, your ex-abusive person, whomever abused you and traumatized you, you know what? They want to see you alone. They want to see you alone and traumatized, because you'll be easier to victimize if you don't have a support system, if they know you don't have anyone to go to. You'll be easier to victimize in the future if you don't build a village around you of people that you know love you and care about you, people that you can rely on. It is very important for us to have a person, a group of people that are there to love and support us, okay? I'm not saying that it's impossible to have a life and build a life with nobody in it but you and your children, or just you alone. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's a very lonely experience. And I don't wish that on anybody. I've lived it for a long time, and it's not a happy life, okay? So build that life. Start with a therapist. Start with going to church. Sign yourself up for dancing, for dance classes, whatever. Build a village. Build a group, a support system. You can even start online, like I did. I had an Instagram page. I had a little group of, people that were healing that used to write me. And, just start somewhere. Just start somewhere. Build a community. Revisit old relationships. Forgive. Forgive people that you know you can build with. Again, I'm not saying go back to abusers. Don't go back to abusers. Don't go back to people that hurt you incredibly, that crossed the line, because that must be said. Don't go back to people who used and abused you. Don't do that. But do revisit certain relationships that you know had genuine love. people that you know can take accountability for their actions, people that you know are willing to grow, people that you know love you deep down, okay? Revisit those relationships if you can. This is just an invitation, okay? It's not healthy to be alone and not let people in. Potential good friends, potential good lovers, potentially good relationships that you're missing on because you are too afraid to take a chance, okay? So start with therapy, start with going to church, start somewhere, but start, okay? That's all I wanted to do in this video. I hope that it was helpful for anyone who needed it today, okay? Take care. I will see you next time. Bye.